Hey guys, it's Doc. I just wanted to kind of do a follow-up video for the series I did about the keyword tool called Niche Genetics, and I wanted to take it to sort of another level for you guys who, especially those of you who are driving content. It could be for your SERP shaker or mass pages, um, whatever your content plan looks like. I think one of the things we have to be prepared for is that a keyword research tool, like let's say for example, um, Google Keyword Planner or Niche Genetics or maybe Longtail Pro, what they do is they go out and harvest keyword data, and so they're very much oriented around search volume, uh, competitive measures like CPC, cost per click, those kinds of things. And for me, they are an awesome starting point for research, like into the competitiveness of a niche, for example. But when it comes time, when I've made the decision to be in that niche, what I really want to drive content to make sure that I cover all my bases well enough that I feel like the website is going to rank in all the areas I want. What I really need is a suggestion tool. So here's a follow-up video to show you how that works with one tool. This one's called Power Suggest Pro, and essentially what Power Suggest Pro and I don't have it in front of me on screen, but you know how when you go into Google and you search for something. Well, if you go down to the bottom of the page, you'll see, I think it's 8 or 10 suggestions for follow-on terms. Let me see. Hang on one second. Maybe I can pull one up that'll help you guys. Oh, there goes the dog. Let's see here. Kitchen design. Do this one. And I'm going to drag it over. Take a minute here. Okay, so we're going to go down to the bottom of the page. I'm Googling kitchen design because I've been working on a remodeling project. And what you see here is these suggestions, searches that are related: kitchen design tool, kitchen design layout, kitchen designs for small spaces, these kinds of things. What I like about suggestions like this is that they tell you what people are searching for, and they're excellent sources of long tails. So let's say, for example, we like kitchen design layout, which I think is really pretty good when you're working with, when you're considering lead gen for people in that business. You can go down and look at what shows up there. So you got kitchen design software, ideas, kitchen cabinets, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, to go back to Power Suggest Pro, um, Power Suggest Pro is one of those tools that pulls, from this database of information, and it can pull from Google, Amazon, YouTube, eBay, Yahoo, and Bing. So, for example, if you're in Google and you start to type in the word kitchen design, um, it will predict. It's got a predictive layer about where you're going next with that. So it might say kitchen design ideas, kitchen design layout, kitchen design experts, those kinds of things. And specifically what this one does, and I think there are a few other ones that I've used that we won't go into today, but like it'll use predictive text like kitchen design space A, and then by prompting with an A, you'll get a series of suggestions that begin with A, and then it'll do B, and it'll do B, C, and on down the line. And if you want to get a really exhaustive search, it can do A, and then AB, AC, AD, and right on down through ZZ. It's quite a lot of searching, but you come up with some pretty interesting stuff. So in my case, what I do is I use something like niche genetics, for example, and I'll type in something like, let's say, kitchen remodeling. That was, I think, the example I used earlier when I started this whole process. And I came up with some things that I thought that it looked like people were searching for, and I wanted to get what Google's suggestions were, and not just Google suggestions, but YouTube, Yahoo, and Bing for these things. So Kitchen Expert then puts in a wildcard multiplier for anything that comes after Kitchen Expert by putting in the asterisk. Same thing, this pipe means that you can do another term. You can do up to 3 with this particular tool. So your wildcard here is before the word kitchen designer, and then I've got a wildcard before the term kitchen design. And so what it's done is it's gone out and it's looked through, it's done 312 queries. So it will do kitchen designer space A, kitchen designer space B, and on down the line. And it's come back with all of these results. There are 946 results. Now, a lot of these are not going to be the least bit useful for steering content, right? So I'm going to show you how I pretty quickly get down to what's important. I start off by hitting the check all button. And these are ranked by default based on the number of times they cumulatively show up in these queries across the different boxes that you checked. So C, kitchen designer, I have no idea why, but that would be one, for example, that I wouldn't use. And because generally in these searches there are far more that you would not use than there are that you would use, what I do is I check them all, and then when I find one that I like, that I think makes sense, I uncheck it. And then when I'm done and I've got it down to, I don't know, sometimes it can be as many as 45 or 50, but oftentimes it's 10 or 15 keywords that I want to use to generate, say, SERP Shaker content or in a content plan in general. Then what I do is I delete all those that remain checked, and I'm left with just the quality ones. So let's say we'll just take some, just to demonstrate, we'll uncheck some of these. Let's see, Lowe's, I don't think we want that. Here are these are product oriented frying pans. I'm not so sure we need anything with frying pans. Back to Lowe's again. So I'm going to go down here. This might be interesting, certified kitchen designer. I'd like to find out if there actually is such a thing. Cost of a kitchen designer. You'll find with a lot of lead generation, actually a lot of stuff in general, people want to know about the cost, the price. So I always like to include these questions to ask a kitchen designer. These are always really good. Uncheck this and keep it in your list because it makes a great blog topic. You can do 6 questions to ask your kitchen designer, or 5 questions answered by our kitchen expert. Those kinds of things. They feed into that whole BuzzFeed type world that we live in. So they're great for content. So here we go. So more how to find a kitchen designer. How much does a kitchen designer cost? Commercial kitchen design, I guess. Easy kitchen design. I don't want to beat this to death, but you get here, kitchen designer's checklist for storage. That's awesome. That means you want to include some things in your content about storage in a kitchen. So, for example, I've been studying a lot about this lately, and kitchen islands nowadays are really hot for kitchens, and they often come with some combination of seating and storage because there are cabinets built into the side or on the ends. Those kinds of things really can be useful. So what I'm going to do now that I've got some of these unchecked, is I'm going to delete all the checked ones. And you'll see here in a second that we are left with the ones that looked interesting. And so with Power Suggest Pro, you can save these to a list, which I think is kind of useful. And then you can go and visit those later on by clicking up here. You can also export, which is kind of cool. Like, let's say, for example, you wanted to keep these for later to build into your content plan. You can just print it out as it is. You can also do phrase match, exact match derivations, uncheck, these, whatever you want to do. Um, but what's really cool is you can also do comma separated. So let's say, for example, you wanted to use these as tags in a post or a SERP Shaker post. You simply click on comma separated and copy all, and then you're ready to just insert them into the tag box. So it can be a lot of fun to use a tool like this. I don't think you'll ever be able to get away from your pure keyword research tools in terms of just coming up with raw data and explaining to you what gets searched, what the relative value of it is. I was on a webinar last night, and the subject came up about, when you're looking at Google Keyword Planner, um, what is a valuable keyword? In other words, what's a buyer keyword versus a keyword that's not? And I've always used cost per click in Google Keyword Planner and other tools for that matter as a proxy for what's valuable, because people are not going to bid 20 or 30 or $40 CPC unless they have a pretty good plan for how they can monetize traffic that comes in through that keyword. And bear in mind, Keyword Planner is a planning tool for people who use AdWords. So we're talking about folks who would spend their advertising dollar bringing traffic to their websites or their landing pages by using these terms. So you still want to take a look at them. They don't tell you much about how to plan your content really, or how competitive a business is, but they do tell you what are good buyer keywords, and they are a great raw source for the type of information you would type in here, for example, in a suggestion-oriented tool like this, to actually get at what are the long tails people are searching for so you can build it into your content. Anyway, this is Doc.